Hello, everyone. We're very excited to kick off this multi-part series focusing on AI in practice. AI has been, is, and I think will be all the rage in life and business in the coming years. And the legal industry is no exception. Our goal with this series is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how future-focused law firms are using AI. We also hope to demonstrate areas that we think clients can focus on and businesses can focus on to maximize their own output through self-help AI legal tools, as well as teaming up with AI-enabled law firms to achieve faster, better, and more efficient results. Things are changing really fast for the better, and it's pretty exciting. My name is Eric Oxley. I'm the Executive Vice President and shareholder at Koley Jessen. We're a law firm located and headquartered in Omaha, Nebraska, and we serve clients throughout the country. Most of our clients are mid-market businesses that are founder-owned, private equity or PE-backed owned, or small mid-cap companies. As an attorney, I focus in the area of mergers and acquisitions and have done that for 20 plus years. Sebastian?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sebastian Ruccolo, and I am an M&A analyst here at Koley Jessen, also based in our Omaha office. I work on the front lines of deals every single day within our M&A group and other practice areas. And I'm also somebody at the firm who has been deeply involved in how we adopt and implement our AI tools into actual workflows. I'm really excited to be here and walk you through how we use these tools every single day and how they are changing what we do for our clients.
As I mentioned earlier, this is the kickoff presentation to a multi-part series. At the end of this session today, we're going to give you a preview of deeper dive sessions that will follow later this year, where our experts in certain areas will go deep into their particular areas, such as employment or IP or M&A, and show you how these AI tools are working specifically in those areas. But to start, today we want to take you through a few things. First, we'd like to show you where law firms stand on Gen AI adoption. Second, we want to give you a behind-the-scenes look at our own technology stack that we're using at Koley Jessen to serve our clients. And third, we're going to go into a deeper dive and have demonstrations on two products that we're frequently using, Clause AI and Harvey AI. We're excited to show you how these tools can work. Before we talk anything artificial intelligence, it's important that we set the stage for the protocols that we use at Koley Jessen when working with these tools. We view this in 4 buckets, and it's our responsibility to deliver this to all of our clients. The first bucket is confidentiality and security. Client information is the most valuable thing that we hold, and we would never put any client information at risk. All the AI tools that we use are secure within our own platform, and all the materials that go into it stay secure in that platform. Those tools then leverage outside language models to help derive conclusions and then produce the products, but none of the client information ever leaves our secure systems. The second bucket is human oversight. I don't know where this is going, but as it stands right now, humans are still necessary. AI is amazing. It can do tremendous things, but it still needs human oversight. We frequently catch errors. We find things that are wrong. It takes expert prompting to get to the right conclusions. So human oversight is essential, and we need that as part of our delivery. And we make sure we do it for our clients. The third bucket is AI as a support system right now. It's not a decision maker. Again, I don't know where this is going, but where it stands today, AI can provide many, many options and solutions and recommendations, but it's still taking the judgment of experience and attorneys to provide proper legal advice. The last bucket is ethics and compliance. As many of you know, some of you are probably lawyers out there, we're bound by so many rules as lawyers. Think of conflicts and confidentiality and ethical obligations. All the tools that we use conform to all those ethical rules to make sure we're not breaching anything that we wouldn't otherwise without the use of these tools. Next, we're going to take a look at where AI adoption is today. If you look at the overall organizational use of AI in the first 2 columns, you look from 2025 to 2026, usage almost doubled in that dark purple box. That, I'm sure, this was looked at a few days ago, if you looked at it today, I'm sure it'd be higher and higher, and it's growing every day. I think soon that purple box is going to go straight to the top. If you compare to overall organizational uses to specific areas that businesses may be using, law firms in particular, you'll see 41% of law firms are currently using AI. Of those law firms, we know that many are on different adoption curves. Some are just getting started. Some are making products. There's a lot of different spectrums of what we're looking at. So we're hoping to give you a good look of what law firms are up to. If you look at corporate legal departments, they're using it quite a bit as well, even more so than law firms. It's a great self-help tool for you attorneys and companies that need quick answers and need to get things done quick. CPA firms, I skipped that column, but they're a little bit lagging. I'm sure they'll catch up. And then the government, of course, always takes a little bit longer than everybody else.
So walking through our legal AI tech stack, we use multiple tools every single day here, but we specifically use 3 core platforms in our legal tech stack. They all have a very specific purpose and they're not redundant. They complement each other, and together they're the full range of what we need to do in our work every single day. First, our main platform is Harvey, which is our most powerful. It is our legal deep reasoning engine, and this is where we go for serious legal work, producing complex document analysis, synthesizing large volumes of information, and producing outputs that are grounded in legal context. Harvey is a purpose-built platform for legal professionals, and it understands the type of work that is done at a law firm. When I'm reviewing hundreds of contracts in a data room for an M&A deal, or helping the litigation team synthesize thousands of pages of discovery materials, Harvey's the platform that I'm turning to, because it can take this amount of information that we are looking at from thousands of documents and accelerates that analysis that would otherwise take days or weeks of manual review. It can do that very quickly. It is not generic AI, and it's the tool that works for the legal field, and it is built from the ground up for this exact kind of work. Next is Clause. Clause is designed specifically for drafting and document reviewing. So it helps our attorneys draft, review, and revise contracts using customizable playbooks and clause suggestions inside of Microsoft Word. And what happens here is when you can rely on internal playbooks or rely on preset flags and identifications that deviate from a contract, the model will recommend what the change should be. And this results in faster turnaround, better consistency across agreements, and fewer manual errors, because the system applies the same standards every single time. For any team that does high volume contract work, this is a very efficient gain. Next, and our last tool that we are currently using is Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI assistant. As many of you know, Microsoft has been at the forefront of all AI development recently, and they recently added Copilot to amongst a matter of their platforms for integrations in a Word add-in, Outlook, Excel, Teams, etc. Copilot is used for our everyday workhorse. It's great for drafting, refining content, summarizing email threads, expediting review of complex financial models by identifying assumptions, errors. It all really gets down to the efficiency of a day. And since Microsoft has rolled this out in all of the platforms within the 360 ecosystem, it expands the type of work that we can do and the quickness of it. Copilot isn't doing the deep legal reasoning that Harvey does, but it's incredibly useful for the hundreds of smaller tasks that fill up a lawyer's day. One thing to note as well is that we are always looking at what's next. And I want to be clear about something else, is that we are not stopping with what we have today. The AI landscape is evolving incredibly fast. There's new updates every single day on models, companies, etc. And part of our commitment at Koley Jessen is to continuously evaluate what's next and make sure that we're always using the best tools available. Right now, we're actively pursuing Claude Enterprise, which is Anthropic's AI platform, and we're looking at several others too. We test these new platforms regularly, and we evaluate them against our security, quality standards, and if it is something that is going to make our work better for clients, we adopt it. This is part of what it means to be leading the trend rather than following it.
I know so much of what we're talking about may sound like a commercial, but it's not. We're not paid agents for these organizations, but the tools are quite remarkable. And that's why we're excited to be sharing them with you, including Claude that Sebastian just mentioned. Our beta test in Claude, I think things are going to be quite interesting where this goes over the next year. But the ones we're going to focus on today are Clause and Harvey. And first, let me get started with Clause. As Sebastian mentioned, this is a word add-in product. It's a bit more under the radar AI tool, which we have found incredibly useful. It's priced very reasonable, and it does a good job with Word documents. This is an affordable tool for anybody, whether you're just at home doing your own thing, or maybe you're a single attorney in an office that's reviewing a lot of contracts. I'm going to take you through what Clause does and how we use it. So if you think about the context of you get an agreement in place. Let's just use a simple agreement like a NDA for an example. First, you have the NDA. You've uploaded the contract. It's in Word. You have a clause add-in. You can communicate with Clause while that document's up. You can issue spot first. Maybe you just ask Clause, please identify all the issues from my perspective. I'm the one looking at X or Y, or I am the one that needs to protect my confidential information. What should I be concerned about? It'll go through and you can Q&A with it. It can give you suggestions. You can then actually take and say, can you make recommendations on various clauses to improve the document to get what I need? And that's clause extraction. And it's doing that in the form of red lines for you that you can manipulate while working within the document. The other thing Clause can do, and we work with a lot of clients on this, is create playbooks. So maybe you look at thousands of NDAs in a year and you're consistently revising them in the same way. Well, we can create a playbook where there's a button that says apply playbook to this fact pattern. Boom. And you hit that and it automatically will populate whatever NDA document you're looking at and create a red line for you that's consistent with your parameters that you've worked on with your counsel or just yourself. And then last, you get a final review, you do your own verification and you spit it out and you have a very efficient contract review system. So next, Sebastian's going to take you through a real life example of showing Clause on screen and how it works.
Perfect. Thank you, Eric. Let's jump right into it. So here is a Word document where we're going to do a Clause example. And in the top right-hand corner here, you'll see Clause is already a Word add-in on my Microsoft Word, but it has a similar interface here to what you would think of with ChatGPT, right? Very much type your sentences here, ask it, what is this document? So let's go through that here. We can just ask a very simple question and quickly we'll summarize what the document is by reading the text on the document. So you get a very brief explanation of it. And this is the tool that we were talking about. So this is the playbook feature here. And as you can see, there's a few examples that you can choose from. And we're going to run a playbook that was specifically for Acme Services, as we are the party that is representing them here. And this is going to review our playbook of Acme for what we would want in all of our NDAs that we would review here. And when you hit the track changes, you can apply all, and it will make those changes for you following the playbook. So this is very much structured from a playbook that used to take about an hour to do. Now we can do that by looking at Clause to help summarize as well as make changes for us in a document. So very cool to see all of those changes happen right there. And then you can accept all changes, stop tracking, update to a new version, and send it off. Next at the firm, we use Harvey. And as mentioned, this is the platform that we find the most use cases in. Harvey is embedded across every single practice group at our firm, from corporate and M&A to litigation, IP, tax, real estate, and beyond. Every group is using it and every group is finding value in it. As of right now, we have over 145 users on the platform and are generating more than 3,700 queries per week. And what's really exciting about this is that it keeps on growing. It's actually accelerating. At the beginning of this year, we implemented firm-wide AI initiatives where each department has specific requirements and goals that they need to meet around workflows, AI adoption, using the products that we have more and more to accelerate work and make it better. Since we did that, we've been seeing more usage double in terms of how much attorneys use it. And each practice area is finding more ways that they can use AI and specifically Harvey for their everyday work. They're getting more creative and they're finding new cases that we hadn't even thought of yet. Every day we get questions from people asking, how can I make this faster with AI? And how can I apply AI to what I'm working on here? And that's a real sign of adoption. These tools were not just purchased and sit on the shelf. It's a tool that people are using actively, exploring, and finding new ways to apply it to their work. And that translates directly into better and faster work for our clients. And I think that's what really sets us apart at Koley Jessen, is that we didn't buy a license and call it a day. We invested in training. We set expectations that we covered on earlier. And we built internal support structures that we created a culture where people are excited to use these tools and teach people how to use these tools. We're not just following the trend, we're leading it.
And with that, what does that mean for you? Harvey in particular is something that in your own organizations is very available, it's affordable, and you can use it and do these same things. And we're here, if you show, these are just some more stats on usage. As Sebastian mentioned, the adoption curve acceleration rate when Harvey was being used for these larger projects or just general research has been really incredible. It's very versatile. And I think many organizations that have routine legal functions that you're performing, whether with external counsel or internal, could also achieve these efficiencies without even using a law firm, which is, I think, could be very helpful. And you should also work with the law firms you're working with and see what tools they're working with and encourage them to do it, because they can deliver faster and they can deliver more efficient. Next, we're going to take you through a deeper dive in exactly how we're using Harvey. We're going to go through 3 example cases. Following this, Sebastian's going to do a demonstration, but I'm going to do a broad stroke description of these 3 areas that we have found Harvey very useful. First, legal research and issue framing. Think about all the times you're sitting at your desk and you just wish you knew the answer to a legal question. Harvey's a great spot for that. It can identify and answer questions with pretty decent accuracy. It can get you in the right direction in terms of general knowledge of an area. It can surface issues that you haven't thought of before, just through a Q&A function describing what you're trying to accomplish and asking it to identify the legal issues associated with this project. And it can clarify unfamiliar legal questions or verbiage or things that you haven't seen before that you may need explained. One thing that I've seen Harvey do really effectively, if you're doing a business across the United States and you're transacting in multiple states, you want to know how a certain action that you're taking or a license or some sort of regulatory requirement is impacted in all those states, ask Harvey. It'll produce a nice response for you. Now, you're going to have to verify some things in that, but it could get you in the right direction and save you a lot of time. The next area I'd like to talk about is drafting and red line analysis. I'm a transaction attorney. This is most of my life. This is a great tool for speed and efficiency in transactional law or contract law. The beauty of what Harvey can do is you can take a grouping of your prior precedent. If you're somebody that works in a high volume of supply agreements, or maybe you do a lot of M&A, we can build foundational threads within Harvey that have all your example documents there to pull from, all your precedent. And we can use that as a knowledge base to negotiate other projects, other supply agreements, other M&A transactions. And what it does is it pulls from that data and really helps pinpoint responses and redline ability to be precise, and it can draft for you. It's extremely helpful in being able to create issues lists and identify issues that maybe you haven't thought of before. Maybe you can take a particular red line that you get back from somebody on the other side and you can put it into Harvey and say, help me identify the material issues I should care about in this. You can use it as a cross check. You can use it as your first step. Incredibly helpful in drafting and redlining. Sebastian?
Now I'm going to take you to contract review and diligence acceleration and how we use this in Harvey. So I can tell you firsthand that this is where AI has had the single biggest impact on how we handle complex legal work across the firm. Whether it's due diligence on an M&A transaction, reviewing a portfolio of commercial contracts, or assembling a factual record in a litigation matter, the volume of documents that legal teams have to go through is enormous. And we're often reviewing hundreds of contracts, filings, records across a single matter number. And every one of those documents has provisions, terms, or data points that matter. And historically, the only way to find these was to have someone sit down and read through every single page. That takes an incredible amount of time, and it's the kind of work where human fatigue and repetition can lead to things getting missed. Harvey fundamentally changes that workflow. It generates structured summaries of agreement terms and obligations. So instead of reading through a 40-page contract to find 3 clauses that matter, you get a clean, organized summary that pulls out exactly what you need. It extracts the key provisions automatically, from assignment to change of control provisions to non-compete restrictions, all things that typically matter and drive risk. It flags those or even highlights missing clauses that may be there, so you immediately know where the issues are. And it compares terms across these documents to surface inconsistencies, whether that's across a data room or across vendor contracts or a set of disputed agreements in a commercial dispute. What used to take weeks now takes days. And I want to emphasize the time that we save on extraction and summarization. That just doesn't disappear. It gets reinvested into the quality of the work that we do here. Because analysts like myself are spending less time on the mechanical work of reviewing these contracts through each page and can factually check them more and do consistent quality checks across multiple timeframes, this allows us and the attorneys to think more critically about what we're seeing, think more strategically on the strategic issues that require real legal judgment, and the work product and the overall final analysis gets to the client faster. And that's not a trade-off. That's a genuine improvement on both dimensions. For you as clients, this means material cost savings because we're not billing for hours of manual document review. It means fewer bottlenecks, so your matter stays on schedule. It means risks get surfaced earlier, which minimizes late-stage surprises. And you have clear visibility at all times into what has and hasn't been reviewed. So there's complete transparency in the process. If you think about it this way, if there's an LOI with a 60-day lockup period, every single day of diligence matters. There's new contracts getting uploaded to a data room, or even in a dispute, there's a time frame and how fast things can get reviewed. And the quicker, but also the more methodical you can look at the documents and understand what's there, the closer a deal gets closed. Or in a litigation context, the faster we can assemble the factual record, the stronger our position when it's time to file motions or prepare for depositions. AI gives us that time back, and it gives it back to you. Now, let me show you what this looks like in practice in Harvey. So right here is the Harvey interface. This is how the interface will look for all users that have a Harvey account. So here we're looking at the Harvey interface, and this is the standard interface that all users have, but what we're going to specifically show is vaults. This is one of the more powerful features that we are using with inside Harvey. And Harvey did a great job of creating a sandbox of fake agreements for people to review. Inside of a vault, you can either create a thread or a review table to ask questions about the documents. We're going to create a table in this example here, looking at all of these agreements, from purchase agreements to supply agreements. And an Excel-like feature of the documents in order, you can ask questions about the documents. So what is the title of the contract? Very simple, add the column. Then you could ask more questions. Is there a change of control inside of this agreement? And what that does is for each question that you're asking, it's going to ask each document. It's going to figure that out for you by looking at the contract. So it's like a single question that you would ask for each document. And you can even title this query. And same with the vault, you can title all of them, which helps organize the information that you're looking for. Another thing that I really like about vaults is that you can assign people different things to review. So if you're wanting someone to review this contract, you can tag them here. So as you can see, I just tagged myself, and you can even share it with external parties at Koley Jessen or elsewhere to have them review the documents as well. And Spaces is that function that allows you to share it with people outside of your organization. So as you can see here, it's just loading up all of the responses to each document. So each column is its own answer to that document. And the columns that you can build out can be 100 plus columns. So you can have a very large review table answering basically fundamentally everything that you need to know. And then when you open up the document here, you can see the citations that brings you to where the document, the citation is that you're wanting to review. So is there a change of control? Contract title, as you can see here, it's going to take us right to where it says developer license agreement. So let's keep on watching it review here, and it seems like it just finished up reviewing. So we'll click open here and look at some of them. I'm trying to find a change of control, and there we go. Okay. So as you can see here inside of this AMD agreement, there is a change of control provision. And what Harvey did is it basically flagged that for us and took us automatically to page 5 and 11. So we'll automatically be able to go to that page and find it. Now let's look to see if there's a non-compete inside of these agreements as well. Same thing, put in the question, and it automatically fills out what the best way to get that question is. Either if it's a yes or no, a response, it figures out the best way to get it for you.
Thanks so much for that demonstration, Sebastian. As a transactional attorney, the efficiency that's come through the use of those tools has been incredible. So we're excited to be delivering that to our clients. Now I'm excited to preview the multi-part series that I mentioned earlier. To come this year, we're going to really bring our experts in and do a deeper dive into specific areas of focus to show how these AI tools, and probably new AI tools as they develop, are creating efficiencies in all these different specialty areas, many of which I'm sure many of you encounter. We're going to focus on commercial and technology agreements, M&A, data privacy, intellectual property, employment matters, litigation, real estate, and tax. There's incredible time and efficiency when partnering with AI in these specific areas, and we're really excited to show you the tools available. We cannot thank you enough for your time and attention today. We're very excited about this series, I'm sure you can tell. Next up in our series is we're going to focus on AI and corporate M&A, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much, and Sebastian and I are available for questions.